The night shift was never supposed to be exciting. Not for me. Not for a janitor who spent her hours polishing floors, emptying trash cans, and wiping fingerprints off glass doors that never stayed clean. But the night it happened, everything felt off. I didn't know why, I just felt it in my skin, like a whisper brushing the back of my neck. The kind of whisper you pretend you didn't hear, just so you can keep living your normal life. But normal wasn't waiting for me that night. Something else was. I arrived at Ridgeway Corporate Tower at 10:03 p.m., 3 minutes late. Not that anyone cared. I was the only night janitor scheduled, the only one wandering 12 floors where the lights hummed and the security cameras blinked like restless eyes. As usual, the lobby was spotless. Too spotless. Even before I stepped inside, I noticed the glass doors were already clean. No streaks, no smudges. Someone had been here before me. I pushed the door and entered the building. The air was cold, colder than any other night. My shoes clicked against the marble floor, an echo that followed me like something unseen was walking a step behind. I glanced at the cameras, all red dots blinking, working, watching, recording. I told myself it was fine, just nerves, just another long shift. But inside, a knot was forming. I made my way toward the elevator. The metal doors slid open before I pressed the button. Automatic sensors, I told myself. Nothing strange. But when I stepped in, the doors closed by themselves, and the elevator rose without me selecting a floor. The button for the 8th floor glowed softly. I didn't choose that floor. The ride felt longer than usual, even though it was only 8 floors. The elevator hummed, then jerked slightly, as if unsure whether it wanted to continue. When the doors opened, a blast of cold air hit my face. The entire hallway was dark. All the lights were off except one, the last door at the end of the corridor. A pale, flickering light leaked from beneath it. I stepped out slowly. My heartbeat matched the rhythm of my footsteps as I moved down the hallway. Something was wrong. The door with the flickering light belonged to Office 805. It was used for confidential meetings, high-level contractors, things above my pay grade. I was told to never go inside, not even to clean unless specifically asked. But the door was open, just slightly, enough for me to hear voices inside. 2 people, a man and a woman, whispering, urgent, sharp. I shouldn't have stopped. I shouldn't have listened, but I did. "You can't back out now," the man hissed, his voice low, dangerous. "I didn't sign up for this," the woman replied, breath shaky. "Someone's going to notice." "No, they won't. Unless you talk." His voice grew colder. "And you won't." A chair scraped against the floor. Something fell. A gasp. A thud. My breath caught. I peeked into the room. Just a sliver. And that's when I saw it. A woman in a gray blazer lying unconscious on the floor. A man standing over her, wearing gloves, his back turned to me. And on the table next to him, a stack of documents stamped with the red classified label. What I saw next froze every bone in my body. The man turned, slowly, like he sensed me. He moved with the calmness of someone who had already decided what he was going to do next. I jerked back from the door. My breath came out too fast, too loud. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. I tried to step away quietly, but the floor betrayed me. A small squeak echoed through the hallway. The man's footsteps started moving toward the door. I ran, not down the main hallway, not toward the elevator. I turned and sprinted down the emergency stairwell, letting the metal door slam behind me. I could hear him yank the office door open. He'd heard where I went. He was coming. I ran down the stairs, 2 steps at a time, gripping the rail so hard my palm burned. My breath shook. My vision blurred. I reached the 7th floor landing and stopped. Maybe he wasn't following. Maybe I imagined it. I pressed my ear to the stairwell door. Silence. Then a faint creak. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, getting closer. I didn't have time to think. I pushed through the 7th floor door and slipped into the hallway, letting it close softly behind me. This floor was deserted accounting offices, cubicles, small conference rooms. Too many places for him to find me. Too many corners he could appear from. I hurried past the rows of cubicles until I reached a storage closet. I ducked inside and quietly shut the door. Darkness wrapped around me. I tried to slow my breathing, but it felt like my lungs were collapsing. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. Just stay quiet, I told myself. Stay still. Stay. A sound echoed from the hallway. Footsteps. Heavy. Slow. Too close. He was on this floor. The footsteps stopped near the closet. I covered my mouth with both hands. Tears burned my eyes. My pulse hammered. The doorknob rattled. Not all the way, just enough to tell me he was checking, testing. Then silence. Then the footsteps started again. Fading. Moving away. I waited 30 more seconds before I allowed myself to breathe again. Another minute before I risked opening the door a crack. The hallway was empty. I needed to get out of the building. I needed to get to the lobby and call someone. Security? Police? Anyone. I crept back toward the stairwell, but the moment I touched the door, it swung open from the other side, and he stood there, tall, calm, expressionless, gloves still on, eyes locked directly on mine. I screamed and ran. He lunged forward, grabbing my jacket, but I twisted out of it and sprinted down the hall. I didn't look back. I could hear his footsteps chasing me. Fast. Too fast. I reached the elevator and slammed the button. Come on. Come on. The doors opened. I dived inside and hit the lobby button. The man lunged forward as the doors began closing, but I kicked his hand away. The doors slid shut between us. The elevator dropped rapidly. I leaned against the wall, shaking from head to toe. When it opened into the lobby, I stumbled out and froze. The security desk was empty. The monitors were off. The emergency phone was ripped out of the wall. Someone had disabled everything. I backed away slowly, but the elevator behind me beeped. The doors were opening again. I didn't wait to see who was inside. I ran toward the back exit, pushed the metal door, and burst into the cold night air. I kept running until I reached the empty parking lot. I grabbed my phone. No signal. I tried again, nothing. I turned to run toward the main road. A black SUV rolled silently into the lot, headlights off. It pulled up in front of me, cutting off my escape. The back door opened. It wasn't the man from upstairs. It was the woman who had been lying unconscious on the floor. She stepped out perfectly unharmed, dusting off her blazer. "Get in," she said calmly. I stood frozen, trembling. I saw you on the floor. You weren't unconscious," she smirked. "I wasn't supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be on that floor either. And now we have a problem." The man appeared from behind me. I hadn't even heard him. He didn't touch me, didn't speak, just waited. The woman crossed her arms. "You saw too much. And now, we need to decide what to do with you." My knees weakened. "Please, I won't say anything. I swear." The woman tilted her head. "Fear is good. It keeps people quiet. But fear alone isn't enough." She stepped closer. "We need trust. And we need use." I blinked. "Use?" She smiled. "Congratulations. You just became our newest invisible asset. Janitors see everything. And now, you'll report everything you see to us." I shook my head, backing away. "I don't want." The man grabbed my wrist. Not tight, not violent, just firm, like it wasn't a choice. "Listen carefully," the woman said softly. "Either you join us, or you disappear. Tonight, no one will look for a janitor who vanishes from a night shift." My chest tightened. My legs trembled. I felt the cold concrete beneath my shoes, the night pressing against my skin. I nodded, slowly, fearfully, because I wanted to live. The woman stepped back. "Good decision." The man released my wrist. The woman got back into the SUV. Before she closed the door, she looked at me once more. "Welcome to the shadows." The SUV drove off, leaving me alone in the silent parking lot. I didn't quit my job. I couldn't. I come to the building every night. I clean the same floors. I empty the same trash cans. I watch the same cameras blinking. But now, sometimes, I find sealed envelopes left for me. On the cart, under trash bags, inside supply closets, each one with a single word written on the outside. Report. And inside, pictures, names, schedules, people I've never met, people I'm supposed to watch. I never thought my life would turn into this. I never thought a janitor could fall into a world of secrets, lies, and shadows. But that night, the night I saw too much, my life stopped belonging to me. And now, every time I walk down a dark hallway, every time a door opens by itself, every time I sense someone behind me, I wonder, did I see too much that night? Or have I only seen the beginning? Because in this place, truth isn't cleaned away, it's buried, and I'm the one sweeping over it every night. This is Twisted Tales TV, where every shadow has a story, and every story leaves a stain that never really disappears.